Power after the big win on the weekend? Have you seen maybe a raise in the spirits in the group at all?
Spirit has always been there. Our spirits, our work has always been there. Now they're rewarding themselves, which is very important. It was a good game. Obviously, 4 goals, could have been more in second half, especially Hope, Sako, Araze. So for us is to continue this standard, and now that we have home game again, try to push on from here.
When you look back at what Kelvin provided, having gotten to sit off the emotion of some of it, what did you think of his cameo in the game and what he can create for your team going forward in the fall?
I mean, given what he went through the week prior, with his visa and everything, and for him to able to fly and come and produce this amount of minutes that he had was fantastic. So we're very happy with him, and he's just going to be important to the group. So we're getting also DJ back, who was missing due to family reasons. So that he had to take care back home, and having him back, Araze back, so it's going to be important. It's going to be really, really important.
You get all those players back, and it's almost kind of the exact opposite of the headache you had at the beginning of the season, where almost nobody could be available for you at times. So when you look at that and you say, okay, now we have maybe this opportunity with all these different players, how do you keep that group happy up front, getting them all minutes, getting them all opportunities, while also prioritizing on the main goal, which is performance?
Well, it's very simple that I've always said from the get-go, with and without injuries. Training and tactical reason is why I pick a team. The competitiveness has to come from within them. Who wants it the most to be in the starting lineup? Who wants it the most to be on the bench? You got to earn the right to play.
Is Kelvin ready to go 90 minutes now, or is he maybe a few weeks away from that?
You just give the man the time. He just played now. You all want him to play 90 minutes. No, you got to build up to somebody, because the reason is he was in Europe and there was in pre-season while we've been middle of the season. So gradually you have to grow. You have to progress him. That's the most important thing.
Pa, you've obviously played El Paso a couple of times already this year. What do you think, thinking back on those games and obviously ahead to Saturday, what do you think makes that team a difficult one to beat? What do you see as their strengths?
I enjoy playing against them. I think they also want to play, which is a good thing, and it's been an exciting game. It hasn't been a boring game so far. So, I'm looking very much forward to be playing them now, and we have to protect home.
Why do you think the games, both of them, have involved so many goals for both teams?
Well, because both teams want to attack, and sometimes both teams forget to defend.
You talk about the defensive side. Pierce has obviously stepped into that right back role when Colin's been away. What have you made as you had a chance to work with him a little bit more since he's been in this elevated role, sort of him and how he's taken to being in that spot, his personality, but also his performances as well?
Oh, Pierce is a very intelligent footballer, and when you have the football IQ, any position that you can put on, you're capable of doing it. And on the ball, he's been very good for us. His timings, his understanding when to push, and his defensive duties, he's done it as well, even though it is new. His biggest capability is that he wants to learn. And when you want to learn and improve, you're always going to get better. So he has that growth mindset that you want our youth to have, but also the understanding that this is my opportunity. And when it's your opportunity, you take it. And that's what he's shown, and that's what he's done. So we're very happy with him, and I know he's very happy with himself. Again, not only is he defending, but also he's providing, 2 back-to-back goals, so that he scores. Good for him, but I think there's also even more, and he will tell you that he has more. But we're happy with what he's doing, but we're not satisfied.
So how long, with an 18-year-old kid, a teenager, a player who's new to this level, we as the media can at times obviously over-expect a player to perform in times like that. How often can you as a coach expect him to maintain and keep that level before there's some kind of drop-off as a young player learning?
Nah, it doesn't matter whether you're young or older, because football is about opportunity and confidence. And there's always going to be a moment where you are going to have a dip. It happens even in the pros, so there's nothing to do with age. It just has to do with the timing and what game is it. But that, even though I have no doubt about his confidence, he's a very confident guy that is quiet, that is humble, knows what he wants, and for me that is a great attribute to have. But is he gonna have a dip? He probably will have. Do we care about it? No. It's just part of the learning and the growing pains that you have to deal with, which we're happy to do.
En español, si me podían contestar, el partido 4-1, un resultado muy bueno en casa, 3 juegos consecutivos aquí, ¿qué tan clave fue conseguir esa victoria aquí en casa?
Sí, pero esto es muy importante porque estáticamente ahora no ganar mucho de casa. Es muy importante, entonces, 3 partidos a la casa, o sea, no ganan el primer partido. Segundo partido contra El Paso, esto es muy importante, es no ganar por la clasemente, pero para mí esto es muy importante la performance. Continuar trabajo, continuar juega muy bien a todos, confianza por la todo. Para mí esto es muy importante paso a paso.
Y Remy Cabral solo jugó 45 minutos el sábado. ¿Está
Sí.
bien físicamente?
Físicamente él está bien, porque para él hizo 8 semanas no juega fútbol. Para mí, para Remy, yo soy muy contento y le venir y le marca goles, yo trabajo duro por el equipo. Para mí esto es muy importante paso a paso con Remy.
Gracias.
You said, I believe last Wednesday, that Remy was one of the players that had kind of stepped into the role that Marga had kind of left in terms of being one of the more vocal leaders in the team. You mentioned a lot of different players, but
Yeah.
how nice is it to see Remy having to step up into that role and then get rewarded for the goal on Saturday?
Remy has also always been, I call him the connector because he connects with everybody. He's a very respectful person, a joyful person to be around, and a very positive one. And you can tell that when he was building himself to have that injury set him back, but the work that he put through, not only now, but in pre-season and going through with him, and the work that he's done, if you look back, step back to how he was last year with the off-field situation that happens to him, and you see him right now, he's been unbelievable to the group, and he rewarded himself with a goal. Could have maybe had 2 with that finish, but again, he's a player that is very important to us in the way that he is as a person, but also as a player in the locker room, but also on the field. So it was great to have him back, and he rewarded himself with a goal. So hopefully that he can continue and drive us forward.
What do you think your team gains, and maybe not gains, but is different when you have Remy as the more natural number 9 and playing Isan off the right as you did on Saturday?
Well, again, Remy is a natural number 9, and Isan, we know that he's versatile to able to play in different positions, but they all possess the quality of playing, but also speed, which is very important with your front players, and how to utilize it, and playing off each other and understanding of each other. So I think that we're doing it very well, but now it's continuing again to reward. We cannot be happy because the last game is the last game. That was done for me on Saturday evening, right? So my focus has been with the group is El Paso. Because that's the only one that matters, and that's how do we continue to create a good home form, restart of this year to able to put us in a position to do what we want to do whole year, which is try to host a home field playoff game, and kick on.
Pa, you've called Emil Cuello a footballer throughout the season, and you've used him in a couple of different spots. We've seen him at left back, obviously.
Yeah.
Played as that kind of left-sided 10 in that less than a game, I think it was. Now that Flores has arrived and has been playing a lot of minutes at left back, and we saw Flood off the bench for Flores last week and play that left back spot. Do you anticipate using Cuello maybe a little bit higher up the field a little more often now that the left back depth chart has changed a little bit?
Yeah, obviously, Emmy is, if you look at Emmy's natural footballer. Like I would say, he has the brain, he has the understanding of the game, and by nature, he's obviously always been an attacking player, and the thing was last year for the first time that he was tossed into that role, and I think this year he's done what we asked him to do, and obviously his quality lies playing in front. So now that we have that defensive reinforcement, obviously the plan is always to look at how can we utilize him high up, because then he can be also more dangerous.
Just before this, we spoke with Kelvin about a bit about the pitch of how you sold him on coming over here, and he brought up like building a legacy in terms of players, in terms of the club. For you, as you look at being here at Phoenix Rising, what does building a legacy at this club mean to you?
It will mean a lot to me, because this is a club that always strive to be the best in USL, but also not only USL, in America. For me, that's the bigger goal. You know, the bigger goal is to leave something behind that you know, I can always be welcome to come here and see what we've done. And it's not about me, it's about all of us together. You know, all of us together, from the front office with Bobby, down to Izzy and Jazz in social media, down to the Ari in ticketing, down to Kyle working with it. It's everybody. It's not only about the head coach, because together we can create legacy, and that should be the aim when you work in a football club, because the game is bigger than me, right? So when me, I'm just a part of the pawn. But the bigger thing is, how do we make Phoenix Rising the best club that everybody that look at it and say, I want to be part of that? Because they showcase family, they showcase pathway, and they showcase winning mentality. And when you have that, for me, that's why I'm in football. I'm not in football for me. I've had my part.
You know, obviously this is a club that's had a lot of turnover in recent years in terms of the head coaching role. And even from a winning perspective, right, they win the title, Juan leaves, and then the club has a pretty big drop off the next year. Yeah. How do you, as a coach, ensure then that kind of what you're building maybe lives on in case, say, you know, another opportunity came for you in the future?
I'm not thinking about anything, I'll be honest with you. I'm, like I said, it's about the job here, and that's my only focus. What else is happening around the world is out of my control, so I cannot sit and think about what ifs. The only what ifs that I have is, how can I continue to drive this club and these players together with Bobby, Brandon, so that the alignment and what we've started with continue, right? So that whatever comes, if it's in due time, it's in due time. That's something I will never focus on. For me, the biggest thing is here, and at this moment, I'm very happy. My family is very happy. I love working here, so until Bobby and Brandon said otherwise, I ain't leaving.
Now, Paul, you know, you talk about Phoenix Rising not only being the best in USL, but, you know, in the United States. There's been developments in like Sacramento, Pittsburgh, you know, as far as your stadiums are concerned. Is that something maybe you would want to see here during your tenure, like at least started, like a proper stadium?
No, it's not if I want.
Yeah.
That is something that I'll tell you right now, that our president Bobby is working day in, day out, and there's something that sometimes people don't see it. But the amount of work that he's putting in, and together with the owners, you know, try to give us a stadium, trust me, that's all what they want to do, because they know how important that is and how valuable it will be for this, for not only Phoenix, for Arizona. Because again, Phoenix Rising is for Arizona, right? It's for all of us who is in Arizona, live and breathe in Arizona, to have a stadium, be proud of. Because football is part of the community, and that's all he's doing day in, day out, together with the owners, trying to find places so that they will build. And trust me, when they do find one and build one, it will be one of the best.
Any other questions in the room?
Obviously, reports yesterday that Ryan Martin over at Loudon is going to be let go from his job at the end of the year. Any thoughts on that situation, and just kind of breaking that news to a head coach halfway through a year?
Well, it's never easy for a head coach, you know, to be let go or know that, but you know, it's sad. But again, I cannot speak on other people's club or job because I don't know what is happening. But obviously, as a fellow coach, you know, it's always sad when you hear that, and they're doing well, but you know, I don't know what's happening there, so I cannot comment on what's going on behind there. The only focus I have is that my bosses are happy with me. I'm good.